Hello and welcome to Animal Life on ARCN TV. I am Fatima Suleiman. This week on the program, we will be looking at the poultry birds. Birds that are raised for their meat, eggs, and feathers, and play a vital role in many cultures and economic around the world. Join me as we get to know their lifestyles and also explore the world of poultry farming and discover the different breeds, feeding habits, and their unique characteristics that make these amazing birds so fascinating.
Poultry refers to domesticated birds raised by humans for their valuable products, including meat, eggs, and feathers. This practice is known as poultry farming. The birds commonly raised for poultry farming belongs to the Galloncerai group. The birds commonly raised for poultry farming belong to the Galloncerai group, primarily consisting of galliforms species such as chicken, quails, and turkey. Additionally, waterfowl like ducks and geese are also considered poultry. However, wild birds hunted for food, known as game birds, are not classified as poultry. Poultry encompasses domesticated birds, primarily from the galliforms and anseriformes, others raised for their meat, eggs, and feathers. The term poultry often specifically refers to the meat of these domesticated birds. More broadly, it can also include the meat of other domesticated or game birds, such as the term poultry often refers to the meat of these domesticated birds. More broadly, it can also include the meat of other domesticated or game birds such as pigeons, doves, quails, or pheasants. In some contexts, poultry may exclusively refers to chicken, which are the most widely domesticated birds globally, originating from the red jungle fowl or Asia. Poultry birds such as chickens, turkeys, ducks, and geese are domesticated birds that live in a controlled environment. They are typically raised on farms or in backyards for their meat, eggs, and feathers. The lifestyle of poultry birds varies depending on the breed, age, and purpose for which they are raised. In general, poultry birds are social animals that thrive in the company of others. They are often kept in groups, with a dominant bird leading the flock. Poultry birds are also curious and active, with a natural instinct to forage for food and explore their surroundings. In a natural setting, poultry birds would spend their days pecking at the ground, searching for seeds, insects, and other small invertebrates to eat. Domesticated poultry birds, on the other hand, are often kept in enclosures or coops, where they are provided with food, water, and shelter. Their diet typically consists of commercial feed, which is formulated to meet their nutritional needs. Poultry birds also require regular exercise and mental stimulation to stay healthy and happy. Many farmers and backyard poultry keepers provide their birds with access to outdoor areas, such as pastures or runs where they can roam and engage natural behaviors. Poultry birds are found in a variety of habitats, including farms, backyards, and rural areas. Chickens, for example, are often kept in coops or pens, while turkeys and ducks may be found in larger enclosures or pastures. Geese, on the other hand, are often kept in grassy areas or near ponds, where they can forage for grasses and aquatic plants. In their natural habitats, poultry birds can be found in a range of environments from forests and grassland to deserts and wetlands. Chickens, for example, are native to the tropical forests of Southeast Asia, while turkeys are found in the forest and grassland of North America. Ducks and geese, on the other hand, are found in wetlands and grassy areas around the world. Poultry birds are also adapted to a range of climates from tropical to temperate and even Arctic regions. In general, however, poultry birds prefer temperate climates with moderate temperatures and humidity. They are often sensitive to extreme temperatures, humidity, and weather conditions and require shelter and protection from the elements. In terms of habitat requirements, poultry birds need access to water, to food, water, shelter, and space to move around. They also require adequate ventilation, lighting, and temperature control to maintain their health and well-being. In addition, poultry birds need to be protected from predators, diseases, and parasites, which can be achieved through the use of fencing, netting, and other forms of protection. Overall, the habitat of poultry birds are diverse and varied, reflecting their adaptability to different environments and climates. Whether kept on farms, in backyards, or in their natural habitats, poultry birds require specific conditions to thrive and maintain their health and well-being. In terms of breeding and reproduction, poultry birds have a relatively short lifespan. Chickens, for example, can begin laying eggs at around 18 to 20 weeks of age, while turkey can be ready for market at around 12 to 14 weeks. Ducks and geese can take longer to mature, typically around 16 to 20 weeks. Poultry birds are also prolific breeders, with some breeds capable of producing multiple clutch of eggs per year. Overall, the lifestyle of poultry birds is shaped by their natural behaviors, domestication, and the purposes for which they are raised. While their lives may be very different from those of their wild ancestors, many poultry birds are able to thrive and lead happy, healthy lives in their domestic environment. The gestation period for poultry birds is the time it takes for an egg to develop and hatch. After fertilization, this period varies depending on the type of bird. For chickens, the gestation period is approximately 21 days. This means that after a chicken egg is fertilized, it will take around 21 days for the egg to develop and hatch. Other types of poultry birds have slightly longer gestation periods. Turkeys, for example, have a gestation period of around 28 days. Ducks and geese also have a gestation period of around 28 to 30 days. Quails have a relatively shorter gestation period of around 16 to 17 days. It's worth noting that these gestation periods are approximately and can vary slightly depending on factors such as breed, nutrition, and environmental conditions. However, in general, these periods provide a reliable guideline for poultry farmers and breeders to plan and manage their breeding programs. Now, let's look at the diet and nutrition of poultry birds. Poultry birds are omnivores, which means they feed on a variety of food including grains, protein, fruits, and vegetable. Chickens, for example, are known to feed on grains such as corn, wheat, and barley, as well as proteins like mealworms and crickets. They also enjoy fruits and vegetables like apples, carrots, and leafy greens. Turkeys, on the other hand, have a slightly different diet. They feed on grains like oats, barley, and wheat, as well as protein like soybeans and sunflower seeds. They also enjoy fruits and vegetables like berries, grapes, and sweet potatoes. Ducks and geese, which are also types of poultry birds, feed on aquatic plants, grasses, and grains. They also enjoy insects, small fish, and other aquatic animals. In addition to these foods, poultry birds also require access to clean water at all times. They need water to drink as well as to help them digest their food. Poultry birds also require great oyster shells to help them digest their food and maintain strong bones. Poultry birds can also be fed commercial feed, which is specifically formulated to meet their nutritional needs. Commercial feed can be purchased at most farm supply stores or online. It's available in a variety of forms, including pellets, crumbles, and mash. Poultry birds can also be fed treats such as sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and mealworms. However, treats should be given in moderation as they can be high in calories and low in nutrients. Overall, poultry birds require a balanced diet that includes a variety of grains, protein, fruits, and vegetables. They also require access to clean water, grits, and oyster shells to help them digest their food and maintain strong bones. Poultry birds require a balanced diet that meets their nutritional needs for growth, maintenance, and production. The diet of poultry birds typically consists of a mixture of grains, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Grains such as corn, wheat, and barley provide energy, while protein sources like soybean meal, fish meal, and mealworms support growth and development. Vitamins and minerals are also essential components of a poultry bird's diet. Vitamin A is important for vision, immune infection, and reproduction, while vitamin D is necessary for calcium absorption and bone growth. Minerals like calcium, phosphorus, and potassium are also crucial for maintaining strong bones, feathers, and overall health. In addition to these nutrients, poultry birds also require access to fresh water at all times. Water is essential for digestion, temperature regulation, and overall health. Poultry birds should also have access to grits and oyster shells to support digestive health and strong eggshell production. The nutritional needs of poultry birds vary depending on factors like age, breed, and purpose. For example, young chicks require a starter diet that is high in protein and energy to support rapid growth and development. As birds mature, their dietary needs change, and they may require less protein and more fiber. Poultry birds also have different nutritional needs depending on their purpose. For example, laying hens require a diet that is high in calcium to support strong eggshell production, while broilers require a diet that is high in protein and energy to support rapid growth and weight gain. Overall, providing poultry birds with a balanced and nutritious diet is essential for maintaining their health, productivity, and overall well-being. Poultry birds are domesticated birds that belong to the order Galliformes, which includes chickens, turkeys, ducks, geese, and quails. These birds have several distinct physical characteristics that distinguish them from other types of birds. One of the most noticeable physical characteristics of poultry birds is their plumage or feathers.
Let's now hear from our resource person, Mr. David Ebita, who will be sharing his expertise and insights on poultry birds.
Poultry, I said, according to what you have there, I said, is a form of animal husbandry which raises domesticated birds, such as chickens, ducks, turkey, and geese, all to produce meat and eggs. You know, when we talk about poultry, the first thing that comes to your head is chicken. But we forget that there are so many benefits in the production of ducks, the production of geese. In fact, outside Nigeria, ducks and geese are one of the fastest selling meat protein, not just because it is proteinous, but it's also needed for anti-aging and sustenance of age forms. While you look for bread that diabetic patients would eat, the next available meat option is the duck or the geese. But you know, in Nigeria, no, not so much is being mentioned about it. But people who know would always run closer to it. So poultry is not only meant for chickens, because when we look at what poultry is all about, we domesticate it just to two. It's either you're on the broiler side or you are on the layer side. The broiler side is generally produced for meat, and the layer side is generally produced for both meat and eggs. But the eggs come before the meat. I belong to the broiler aspect, not as if the layer aspect is not still in my ambience. But you see, when you have something that gives you money every 6 weeks, with good effective management, definitely you know what it means. As far as I'm concerned, whatever was said back in the days when I started, when a day-old chick was 75 naira and the price of feed was 1,250 naira, poultry was seen as a place for double money. I can still tell you today it's still seen as double money. The issue is, do you know what to do, how to do it, and when to do it? That's why I'm here. But when you look at the poultry aspect of it, be it that you're doing it at small scale or you're doing it at the large scale, the end margin is based on profit. Now, what is that profit? You minimize your cost, you maximize your profit. And that's the essence of it. And that has always been my practice all the years. But I also understood that even in waste, there is economy. Because as of when I started understanding the business and went through training and some other things, I found out that even those dead ones, I could sell them to those who were rearing dogs. And those are things I didn't know. When he dies, I just look for a place and bury and just throw. I was throwing the same money I was going to go and either work hard for or steal. But with effective management, at least I try to come down to between 5 to 10% of mortality. Let no man kid you. As far as poultry business is concerned, there must be losses. But the ability to reduce it with the right understanding gets you over the edge. And after a wake-up call, it helps. Now, poultry farming, despite the hike in prices and everything, the value chain that we are talking about is that you can venture into every aspect of poultry, the aspect of value chain. It says it encompasses all the activities and processes involved in production, in processing, in distribution, and marketing of poultry products. There are farmers here who may not be good in rearing birds from day old. And you can choose to buy from 2 weeks. You can choose to buy from 4 weeks. You can even choose to buy from 6 weeks because maybe you want to keep longer than that, based on your target. I belong to the ones who start from the beginning because it's always sweeter. You know, there are certain things that people don't know. Even with the right equipment, if you are not well prepared, forget about it. For the past 9 years, I have never bought birds that were not raised by me to come and continue their rearing. Because in one way or the other, I always tell a farmer, if you go to go and buy the 2 weeks bird that you are buying, or the 4 weeks bird, you have brought it to the house because we were looking plumpy. Did you not have the intuitive knowledge to ask, please, what is the plan that you have been using? I have my medication chart. So whether I'm in the farm or not, my worker there knows that when he or she comes, the first thing they need to do is go through the medication chart. What did he give today and what should I continue from? If you are confused, just give water. In fact, don't even touch them. Because there must be a plan. So why do you go and collect birds from someone and you don't know where the person started from or how you want to continue with what you have carried? And the next minute, you are thinking of how to analyze a problem that you created in the first place. So the value chain of poultry, as I have put it here, tells you that right from the production aspect to the marketing, it encompasses all that we want to know. It lets us understand. Because the value chain, when you have a product as a value chain, the essence is that it should optimize efficiency. It should tell of your quality and tell of its profitability. In all of it, there are different branches, even in the poultry aspect, that I even gain from, even better than even rearing these birds. I make my own products as far as organic poultry is concerned, and I still have people who place orders and I supply. Take for instance, I have what I call a protease enzyme. Now what are my ingredients for a protease enzyme? I just use pineapple, fish, and molasses. Molasses is the byproduct of sugarcane. And so if I get the normal fish in the market, fresh as it is, I dice it into pieces. I wouldn't give you the measurements now, but just hear me out. But you see, I have given you a clue. Because on that page, you've seen my name. You've seen the company. It's on YouTube, so you still have the access to go and watch everything that is there. So, once I bottle up this pineapple and this fish, fresh fish together, and add molasses and keep it for 14 days, I'm okay. What do I derive from it? One, the pineapple contains what we call bromelain, and that aids in the breaking down. And that aids in the breaking down of this food when they eat. Because they have to eat food. The essence of them growing fast is the ability to digest this food properly. And then what does fish add as a source of protein? So once the food is broken down by the pineapple itself, the fish helps to raise the birds up. And it's settled. I have what we call the egg emulsion, where I deal with eggs and lime. There are so many ways. You have the bitter leaf. You even have the water leaf. You have the pawpaw leaf. You have the neem leaf. There is nothing that cannot be added to birds, either through water or their meal. Take for instance, I can add 50 grams of dry charcoal to 1 bag of feed, and it helps me solve any form of problem that has to do with bad indigestion of bad feed. If I suspect a feed that I have already bought and it has a problem, all I need to do is just get 50 grams of charcoal that I have grinded and mix with that 1 bag of feed, and it's good enough for me. Some of us live in areas whereby you have our neighbors say, it's smelling too much, or it should smell. But have you ever understood that you could use those charcoals and just those ash and pour on the ground, then pour your wood shavings on it? Now what does the charcoal do? When a child takes something like hypo or all those things either by mistake, if you go to the hospital, they give what you call activated coal. What that activated coal does when swallowed is that it brings everything together so that it can be flushed out. That's what it does in the bird system. There is no difference between the internal organs of a bird and a human being. Apart from the beak, it is still the same. It follows all. So if from a 25 kg bag, I can make use of 17 kg, and then they excrete 8 kg, I have tried. So when you are looking at its advantages of a poultry value chain, The economic benefits are there, employment opportunities. You have the food security, which that is all we are after here. There must be something you need to solve. What are the disadvantages? Disease outbreak. I know that's everybody's problem. But the truth of the matter is this. I make more money solving these problems. I'm praying that it should occur the more. Because in the first place, as birds are lazy, so also are farmers. Farmers are also very, very assumptuous. They can assume. I did it before. It worked very well. So therefore, it should work like that. You see, one of the best ways to solve these disease outbreaks is by effective biosecurity. I know I'll be coming to it. But how many farmers know that before they enter their farm, the first thing they need to do is to wash their own hands? Because birds are not selective. They pick anything they see. And that's why for farmers that I know, when they come to me, I tell them, I've seen what you're doing, and now you're seeing what I'm doing. I hope you have learned. In my brooding stage, I tell farmers, why do you go? You just brought a bird to your farm, and you're starting with sawdust on the ground. I see some put feed bags. Some put even newspaper. And I said, if you put a drop of water on a newspaper, that's all of that newspaper. Because the newspaper gets wet. And the first problem to a poultry farm is when you have wet surroundings. It builds the coccidiosis that you do not even want to exist so much in the first place. So I rather tell them, please use the carton. But even when you are using the carton, please clean it properly. Do one kind of thing, throw something and keep. Heat up the place. Let the place be warm. See, when you wash a poultry farm, that does not mean that you have eradicated everything that is there. Besides, what happens when you wash that place is that you increase their growth. Because besides, they were surviving on water. Now you are using water to wash. And you wash the floor. And then you come by this length, forgetting that they used to climb up. What happened with you bringing everything down? So when you wash, I tell people you fumigate, you wash. After washing, then you disinfect. As little as that thing may be, it's very hard for poultry farmers to do it. And yet, what they were supposed to spend securing the place, they spend it saving birds that shouldn't have died.
Many thanks for staying with us on ARCN TV, where we talked about the poultry birds. Poultry birds are an integral part of our daily lives in Nigeria, providing a source of nutrition, income, and joy for many. I remain your host, Fatima Suleiman, saying see you next time.